Hello everyone and welcome to the Smashi Business Show. Today is Wednesday, September 2025. It's so confusing now, 2025. I'm Abdul Majid Awan.
And I'm Warad Ahmed, and we've got a packed show for you today. First up, Dhabi launches a $100 million AI fund to attract global startups. Indians are shifting production to the UAE free zones to dodge the US tariffs, or really Trump's tariffs. And Israel's continued genocide in Gaza will cost them $7.5 billion more. And the Trifid media founder Mahdi Shafiei partners with Kris, Fahd, the famous Virgin Radio host, and Matty, Fahd for the Australia launch.
And the very first story today is millions. Abu Dhabi AI firm Trifid, which is a part of G42 again. Whenever you listen to any Abu Dhabi company which is related to AI or anything, it's usually under G42, basically tech. And another company from Abu Dhabi, which is an investment company, Shuruk, have launched a $100 million global fund. It's not for the UAE people, it's not for Saudi, it's for everyone. And they are going to host it at the Abu Dhabi Global Market, which is ADGM. The pre-site Shuruk Fund 1, that is what they're calling it, aims to unite capital and expertise to accelerate AI startups while positioning the UAE as a hub for innovation.
The fund will focus on key AI technologies and attract entrepreneurs worldwide, granting them access to the UAE's resources, infrastructure, and markets. Presite CEO Thomas Pramatatahem described it as a strategic combination of funding and support designed to help AI companies scale quickly and responsibly.
Meanwhile, Vice Chairman Mansoor Al-Mansouri said the fund ushers in a new era for the most promising AI startups. He highlighted Abu Dhabi's growing role as a global leader in AI innovation, reinforcing the UAE's vision of bridging technology and entrepreneurship between East and West.
The initiative is part of Abu Dhabi's broader push to diversify its economy through technology. Projects such as the 1 gigawatt Stargate data center aim to foster innovation, create talent opportunities, and position the UAE as a key player in the AI revolution shaping global industries.
Meanwhile, Presite, which is listed on ADX, the Abu Dhabi Securities Exchange, and it was listed in 2023, recently reported Q2 net profit of 77 million dirhams. That's the Q2 of 2025 this year, up nearly 8%. Shuruk, meanwhile, manages over 80 regional portfolio companies. We've done a lot of work on Shuruk. We've done a lot of stories on them. They were called Shuruk Partners, and now they're only called Shuruk. But together, the partnership signals the Middle East intend to become a driving force in AI, from sovereign platforms to cutting-edge startups.
I think with this entire story, it's so interesting because I believe we covered Presite not so long ago, and we had that discussion about how they're kind of technically the Palantir of the UAE, Palantir in the Gulf. They're a very big analytics company. So I think the fact that they're also under G42, I believe. So I think the fact that they're coming together with Shuruk, they're creating this AI fund that is meant to benefit startups. It's so important because just as much as the concept of Stargate UAE, well, it's not really a concept. It's going to come together. Yeah. Just as much as that is exciting, Majid, it's even more exciting to know that they're backing the startups that can possibly collaborate with it to boost the jobs in the UAE more. I think that this is complete fair play. Remember that that quote by Noor Suwaid. She had come out and she had said that we don't have venture funds in the Gulf that are strong enough. And it's almost as if ever since she said that, so many funds have come out. We've seen how with Humane, Saudi Arabia's new artificial intelligence company, they have this $10 billion AI fund. And so I think for Shuruk and Presite to come together to have this fund, I think it's something really, really critical to boost funding for these new startups that do come.
Yeah, and very interesting part is they're not limiting it to the UAE, Middle East or anything. They're like, whoever you are, wherever you are, if you have an idea or if you have a prototype or if you already are a running company or a running AI startup, we are here with our $100 million. Just come, we'll fund you. And the very interesting point is that with these companies, it's not only the money that they give you. In UAE right now and in Middle East, if you talk about Qatar and if you talk about Saudi Arabia, everyone is here. They've set up here. So it's not only the money that you get, it's also the access you get to a lot of people who actually make decisions. And it may be you come and you get $10 million in funding or 10 million out of that 100 million pool, but you may find an angel investor. You may find a VC who is ready to invest in you. So that money plus there is access to a lot of other people. So it's very important because right now this is the center of the world, and for I think the next 2 decades it is going to be at least 2 decades. It's going to be the center of the world. It's a very nice fund. But yeah, talking about this place being the center, it's also the center of Indians now, because very interestingly, we had this conversation. I remember when Trump's tariffs came out at the end of March, start of April, and then that 2 months was crazy. Everyone was talking about recession. But funnily, the tariffs that were there were very less on the Middle Eastern countries, 10% in Saudi, 10% on UAE, 10% on Qatar. So now what is being done is very interesting. Indian exporters are moving final stage manufacturing, assembly and packaging of whatever they're selling to UAE free zones to bypass steep US tariffs introduced under President Trump. Semi-finished goods are brought to hubs like Jabal Ali and Sharjah free zones for last mile value addition, allowing shipments to qualify as Emirati. Indian businesses, but shipments will qualify as Emirati and face lower US duties.
Now, the August tariff hike added 25% duties on many Indian imports, doubling effective transport in some categories. By adding up to 40% local value in the UAE, exporters can reclassify the origin of goods, avoiding higher Indian tariffs and maintaining access to the US market. And I think that this is a very rapid, pragmatic response to the rising trade barriers.
And this trend is reshaping regional supply chains. Sectors such as textiles, jewelry, pharma, and electronics are leading the shift, while UAE hubs are scaling operations to meet rules of origin requirements. And that is the main thing that you see when you tariff someone. We'll talk about it after this, but thousands of expressions of interest have been reported. It was reported by AGPI, a very nice story by them. They talked to a lot of people who help you set up businesses in the UAE. Everyone was like, we have seen a surge in interest from Indian companies to set up in UAE, in free zones or wherever they can find a place.
And Jabal Ali's upcoming Bharat Mart is set to open in Q1 2027. It is expected to accelerate these moves. Companies are establishing more robust UAE operations for final stage assembly, while leveraging free zone incentives to optimize costs and ensure compliance with the U.S. customs rules. Now the UAE emerges as a strategic trade hub.
And policymakers in the US, India, and UAE may respond with tighter origin checks or new trade measures as these circumvention strategies grow. The shift highlights how businesses adapt quickly to tariffs, potentially altering bilateral trade patterns and blunting the economic impact intended by the US Trump tariffs on Indian exports. So basic maths, they are going to save nearly 40% because let's not say 40% because bringing stuff here will also cost them something. But a lot of those companies are already set up in the UAE because UAE free zones are kind of like a transition place. So if you want to move from Asia towards Europe, this becomes the center. So you bring a lot of stuff here, put it here and keep it. As soon as you get an order, you just ship it there. So it kind of saves time, saves energy, saves a lot of money for you. But UAE right now has 10% tax. So if you send a product which is $100, you only pay $10 on it. So your product will become 110 and then you sell it at retail 115, 20, make profit. But if you're selling something from India in the US for $100, it becomes 150 because 50% tariff on India because Mr. Trump had a problem with India buying crude oil from Russia. So he increased the tariff from 25 to 40 and now 50%.
Look, Majid, I think that this was so bound to happen because according to stats, as of 2025, in the UAE, there's over 4 million Indians here.
Yes.
I think that this,
that's the population of Dubai, actually.
Literally, most of the population here. And I think even recently when I went to this production shoot for Imtiaz Real Estate, I believe that they're South Asian. I'm not sure if Pakistani or Indian. Shoba, I believe too.
Shoba,
and,
Indian.
And it's to see how much of a great how much of a great kind of future they've done for themselves here in the UAE. It's so crazy. If anything, they came here before anyone else did. Especially, and you see it in Yusuf Ali's story. The fact that at some point he was in Abu Dhabi in the 1990s, sleeping in the roof of a supermarket, and last year, his IPO was one of the largest IPOs in the UAE, if not largest. So I think when you take a look at that, I think that this makes complete sense to me. I think I told you this before. I'm not sure if I told you this, Majid, but when I went to the driving school center, and I was speaking to the Sudanese manager there who runs the center, you would not believe my shock when I heard him speaking Hindi. You would honestly, I was shocked. I was like, what? And, also my grandfather speaks Hindi. And because he's been in the UAE for a while. And I asked him, I was like, how come? How do you speak Hindi? And he's like, that is the predominant workforce here in the UAE. To not know it is almost to, you're doing yourself a disfavor. You really are. Because these are most of the people that you're working with. And when you know their language, you can work with them better. Yeah. I hope to learn something one day. Guys, I was asking Majid this morning, because Majid is from Pakistan. And I noticed that him and they can just always talk, and I'm like, hold on, I'm like, wait, your native tongue is Urdu, how are you speaking Hindi? And so to the people who have the same question like me, can you please answer this question for us, Majid?
There's a long history. The best answer I give is that we have seen a lot of Indian movies, Bollywood, and Indians have seen a lot of Urdu dramas. So our drama industry is very big in Pakistan, and their movie industry. So we've seen so much that we get the idea, and we get 95% of what they're saying. There's very hardcore Hindi, which they don't speak, and there's very hardcore Urdu, which we don't speak. We speak a very common, normal language. I don't know what you can call it, Urdu or maybe Hindi, but there is a common language. It's like the Arabic Fusha. Everyone gets it, but no one speaks it, right? No one speaks Arabic Fusha apart from,
certain dialects are near to it. They say the Sudanese and the Saudi Arabian dialect come very close to it, but no, you are right.
But you get it, right? Even if you're talking as a Sudanese woman who speaks Arabic, Sudanese Arabic, or the accent or the dialect, if you talk to a Syrian, Lebanese guy, Palestinian, any person from another country speaking a different dialect would understand it, right?
I would, but I find Moroccan and Algerian
a little difficult, right?
I find it very difficult.
But there would be common words where you would be able to speak to them, right? So there will always be commonalities. The main history behind it is a little long, but very simply, there was one Mughal king, Akbar. He loved Hindu. He was a Muslim. He was a Muslim ruler of a Muslim empire, but majority of the people under his rule were Indians, not Indians, India became later, but Hindus. So he combined their languages, and the language that me and him, Ujjwal and Kashif and all us speak is kind of like the language of Akbar, because so a lot of religious things happened in his time also. He combined, it's subcontinental history, it's not general world history, but it's subcontinental history. There's a thing called Deen-e-Akbari, the religion of Akbar, and it's just called religion of Akbar, but under it there was hundreds of cultural reforms as well.
Do you know when it began, Majid?
Mughal Empire was before the British invaded Southeast Asia, and it was around 1840s, 30s when the Mughal Empire starts, and Akbar was he was the third or fourth last one. So he had a lot of Hindu constituents, but he was a Muslim emperor. So he tried to combine both cultures and religion.
Right.
So Shab-e-Barat, you must have seen a lot of fireworks. I don't know if it happens in the Arabic world, but it does happen in our Mughal, in the Asian world. On Shab-e-Barat, everyone does fireworks. It's actually a thing which Akbar created, Akbar started. So Diwali and Shab-e-Barat came on the same night, and now he has a lot of Hindus who want to celebrate Diwali, but we have a sacred night, Shab-e-Barat. So he was like, what do I do? He combined both of them. So actually, the concept of having fireworks on Shab-e-Barat comes from Deen-e-Akbari. No one knows this. It's so interesting that a lot of people are like, why are we doing fireworks And Shab Barat is a sacred night in
Yeah.
Islam, right? We don't celebrate it,
I
we
just-
just pray a lot.
I think for me, I just find it really interesting because when you take a look at the Indian partition,
Yeah.
when, you know, India was split in the late 40s, I always wondered to myself, like, you know, other than the fact that this was a land split, you know, how did the language split happen? And even more so, like, how was the economy affected?
The distribution, again, it's very varying because in Pakistan's history, they write Pakistan's version, in Indian history, they write Indian version, and then there's the third person perspective, which I love reading because you know from an outsider view what it looked like, and that's really a little unbiased. But very basic terms, India got all the industries, we got, according to our size, we got a lot of land and resources. So Pakistan has 4 seasons. India, to be honest, also has 4 seasons. So Pakistan, you start from south. Karachi is a port city. There's a port. It's the main, I would say, artery of our business. All the money that Pakistan has, I think 80% of it comes from Karachi port because we only have one port. And then Karachi port, you go up, you have Punjab, which is combined with Indian Punjab. So those Punjabi people can speak each other's language also. So if Ujjwal starts speaking in English, Punjabi or any Indian person, I will get it. Because
Wow, that's
it's the
so
same language. So
interesting.
it's not just a common Urdu-Hindi kind of a combination. We understand each other's Punjabi as well. So yeah, it's a combination of a lot of things, but subcontinental history is very interesting.
Yes, it
So yeah,
is.
we can talk to each other very simply, without even like missing anything in the context.
I think
It's always
nice
so
to
easy.
mention a country
Yeah.
with a very like detailed, culturally relevant, beautiful history.
Yeah.
You know, another country with a very deep history that it seems to keep rewriting is Israel. And in their upcoming assault on Gaza City, they're expected to raise their war spending by 25 billion shekels, or $7.5 billion by year end, and this is according to Bloomberg. Now, this comes on top of nearly 2 years of the genocide, which has already cost 204 billion shekels and spread tensions to Lebanon, Iran, Syria, and Yemen.
And the rising war bill now exceeds 1% of Israel's $580 billion economy. 1% just blown up in bombs and fireworks and what are they called? Bullets. That's it. They're just throwing money in that. They could have used it to build parks and give their people more infrastructure that we were talking about yesterday. Increased reliance on borrowing by Israel and record bond issuances has widened the deficit forecast to 5.2%. So out of the whole economy, they still need 5.2% of it. The Gaza City offensive alongside regional escalation has drawn international pressure and diplomatic challenges for Israel. We saw September 22, September 2021. September 21 and 22, a lot of countries now recognize officially Palestine as a state.
Yeah, so spending has been driven by reservist salaries, ammunition, and missile interceptors, to be specific. Now, the Israeli cabinet is seeking an additional 30 billion shekel budget increase to fund the operation. Now, officials say intercepting threats costs millions, but prevents far greater damage, underlining the financial intensity of ongoing military operations and preparedness measures.
And Israel's plans long-term procurement worth of $49 billion, including fighter jets, missile boats, and defense R&D. All of them, I think, will be provided by US for free, or at least on 10-year delayed payments, which is nearly free. These investments aim to strengthen the military against Hamas. That is what they say, and potential regional threats. Again, that is what they say, that we have so many threats. Officials warn that sustained operations will require continued budget revisions as the conflict extends and expenditures keep rising sharply. War never helps anyone.
Yeah.
No one understands this. Whoever goes to war, whichever country has gone to war, they never get it. No one wins in a war.
I think Germany gets it.
Yeah.
I think Germany gets it really
You
well.
never win economically in a war. Maybe a political victory. Maybe you get one up on another country. Maybe you get one up on another leader. Economically, never in the history of the world any war has been economically viable for even the victors.
You know what, Magic? Can I tell you something? I remember I used to have a teacher, and you know, I won't say their name, but this teacher basically visited Israel. It's a part of her job. It's a part of how she builds like knowledge through things, and she said that it was one of the worst trips that she had ever taken. And do you know why? She basically said that when you are there, when you are in Tel Aviv and you are in that city, and you know how long it took her to actually get entry into Israel, she said that you can clearly feel the difference in living. You can clearly feel it, that there is a other side that is just going through horrors that are unspeakable of, and then there's this side that is living in like a modern city, you know, where you have someone like Bill Ackman who's coming to open the Tel Aviv, trading stock. Yesterday there was this story that I had worked on about American billionaires and how much they've been funding Israel, and I thought that that story was really important to make because I know that a lot of people have the question of how come is it that America is a very strong supporter of Israel? And when you actually take a look at it, it's because of those things. And for me, I think the biggest one, Majid, for me was Oracle.
Yeah.
Oracle was just really shocking.
Larry
Ellison, I mean, he became the richest man in the world above Elon Musk for like one day. For me, with his story, it just really intrigued me because, not only has he shown support through funding, but there was a point where he invited Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, to basically join the board of directors of Oracle. I was shocked, not just that he invites him to his island in Hawaii. I like that is a shocker. That is a complete shocker. So I understand why people are afraid of an Oracle takeover of TikTok that might currently happen in the U.S. because
they've gotten the algorithm. They've bought the algorithm. They'll run the algorithm in America, especially. Overall, globally, TikTok still owns the algorithm, but in America now he owns the algorithm, so he can make changes to it. He can take stuff out, put stuff in.
Yeah, and we saw how, I remember at that time when TikTok had like gone down like for just a little while, remember that Times investigation that basically was saying how
there's so many hashtags.
Yeah, and the hashtag Free Palestine on TikTok is much more famous than Israel's hashtags. And it's when it really does all come together and you think about it, and the Times is it's owned by the Murdoch family. Right, Majid? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's owned by the Murdoch family. Yes. Yeah. And so when you see how all of this messaging is happening, it's honestly it's important for people. It's important for people to know these things, to know what's going on. But it's like and especially with Oracle, by the way, it's actually a dream company to work at. They pay their employees really well. They really do. Yeah. So it's where do you go with this? Are we going to
go anywhere?
Exactly. Are we going to tell people that you shouldn't work for these companies? No, I don't think that we can do that because people have careers and they have livelihoods, and I think that's always a point for me where yes, I do boycott certain things, but I don't really attack people for doing certain things because in the end of the day, like it's people's lives, it's people's livelihoods. Remember that lady that we rip shared? The one was like the second that I came out and I spoke and I said Free Palestine, I lost 90% of my income. And I was like, wow,
My point has always been with boycotts. I completely believe in them. I do think they work. Everything is fine with them. It's completely a very legitimate, ethical, moral thing that you can do. The only problem for me is the lowest strata, the lowest people who get affected, the bartenders, the baristas, all these people are sometimes doing part-time jobs to get through university or something and become something in life.
Not even their mothers.
No one, I think, has a dream of becoming a barista at Starbucks, right? No one has a dream of becoming a cashier at McDonald's. All these people, they do these jobs because they need these jobs part-time or full-time sometimes even, just to make ends meet, right? All these people lose their jobs. So it's not I'm against it. I just have a moral conundrum inside me that if I support a boycott, like if I support the boycott of Starbucks or McDonald's, those places will be shut down. And I'm not even talking about Middle East. I'm just talking about globally. If you shut down 100 stores, McDonald's stores in the US, at least one branch by bare minimum has 10 people working there. Where would you take them? where would these people now find a job? So multiply 1,000 jobs gone in a day if you boycott. So it's kind of like a moral conundrum for me, but it's a very personal opinion kind of a thing.
But Majid,
I still think
you
it
have
works.
a good point though, because I think that this is something that the woke community just completely dismisses, and I really I hate it when someone is like too woke, because it's like while I may not do something, or while you may not work for these companies, it's like we do not have the right to bestow our judgment on your normal average people. On billionaires, perhaps you can. And I think at Jeff Bezos' wedding, Italy really did bestowed their judgment on that wedding.
See, I'll give you the simplest example that I think is the best case study to understand it. The whole McDonald's ordeal, if you take it from the start until now, there's like 3 main key points in it. First thing, McDonald's distributing their meals to IDF soldiers who are doing a genocide in Gaza, right?
Photos.
Yeah, done. They're doing it. But when you actually read about it, it wasn't McDonald's directly. Whoever had McDonald's franchise in Israel, they bought a franchise. Like MAF owns a lot of franchises here. It wasn't a decision of globally McDonald's to distribute meals to IDF. It was the decision of the franchise owner. What happened next? McDonald's took back their franchises. Why would McDonald's do that?
But Majid,
My question is,
look at Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah, Ben and Jerry's I understand, but Ben and Jerry's have also sold their company. Na? They can't.
Have, but
I
the
disagree.
founders-
I love their stance. I love what they're doing. It's like one of the best examples of having a conscience and being a businessman. But they actually sold the company to Unilever, and now if they protest, the best they can do is protest.
No, but they stopped selling Ben and Jerry's in Israeli settlements.
Yeah.
And that's what caused the issue with Unilever.
Yeah, so it's again, you've sold a company. Why would you expect them to not go in any market? It's Unilever's decision. So right now, I'll criticize Unilever for not coming out of that
They
market.
signed something, by the way. They signed something that, yes, you guys take over, but we get to preserve our social mission.
Yeah,
There
but
was something on paper there.
Again, if someone owns your company, and what they're doing is they're making a separate ice cream division and putting Ben and Jerry's in that. So they can now dictate the rules. You just have to understand, if someone owns 51% of you can't take a decision.
No, but
I'll give you another example of
Ben and Jerry's
this.
actually did something. So
What?
I don't think we can excuse McDonald's.
I'll give you an example. Your favorite person, Huda Beauty.
Oh, I love her.
She
She's
recently
great.
took complete control of her company, and just look at her stories. And just look at her stories
that makes
before
complete sense.
she was being, like some percentage was owned by General Atlantic. She wasn't sharing like 10, 15 stories about Gaza and everything every day. Now she does. Why? She has full control over the company. She can call the shots. Before, she had someone who was a partner,
Well,
minor
make it an
investor.
issue.
Yeah, they can be like, why are you doing this? Right? So it's just, if you own the business, I'm all for it. But if you have sold the business, your moral and conscious and ethical stand, I completely agree. I am in favor of you. Greatest person alive. But using the medium which you've sold already, you can't do that, really. If, another example, weird example, if someday Smashi business is sold to someone who has a problem with calling Gaza genocide a genocide. If
I mean,
it's
yeah, that
sold,
makes sense.
You can't do it, right?
Yeah.
Right now, thankfully, our owner allows it to say what the truth is. What should be called what? He allows it. What if one day someone else comes up, gives a lot of money, owns
I won't be
Smashi
here
business?
for that. I'm
Yeah,
good.
I don't think Richway is going to do that, but you have to understand that. The main idea basically is boycotts work, but a lot of people lose a lot of jobs.
They
and
affect a
the
lot of
lower-
people's
lower
livelihoods.
stra-
They do.
So you should think about them as well. If you're boycotting, I love the Boycott app. I love the guy behind it. I love everyone who is part of the BDS movement. You just need to think about those people as well and how you will create jobs for them. So I think it should be BDS plus job creation movement.
That's really
create
listen,
jobs for them also.
That's like That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a controversial one. But
You
I think
have
it's
such
a
a
good
big
point.
reach, just create something.
But listen, like we know that we live in such like an honestly, and it's horrible that I'm saying this, but we do live in a very selfish like is the saying eat dog? I forgot what the saying is.
Dog eat dog?
Where people will judge you, but they won't, and they'll complain, but they won't find a solution for you, and that bothers me. You know, if you're gonna complain, come up with a solution, come up with the next step, and Trifid
BDS plus
Media.
movement, the next frontier.
Yeah, and Trifid Media right now is looking at their next step. Just to end the show on a very positive note, the Trifid Media founder and CEO Mahdi Shafiei is expanding the company to Australia. This is really exciting. Known for its influencer-led approach, Trifid connects talent, brands, and audiences across multiple media platforms, creating campaigns that span social, digital, and broadcast channels, really building a global network of media partnerships.
And the Australia launch was unveiled via an Instagram video, very interesting video, highlighting collaborations between Lebanese Australian radio host Kris, one of our favorite entrepreneurs in the UAE, founder of Fit also, and TV personality Matty Fahd, a Google Box star since 2017. Their involvement signals Trifid's intent to build strong local influence while leveraging celebrity partnerships for brand growth.
So Trifid Media now operates 4 divisions. It's original Trifid Media Arabic, Trifid Properties, and the newly launched Trifid Media Australia. Now each division focuses on connecting creators with audiences and brands, emphasizing tailored multi-platform campaigns that drive engagement and deliver measurable impact for partners across regions.
And Mahdi emphasized that the expansion into Australia reflects the company's global vision by combining local celebrity influence with Trifid's proven media strategies. The Australian arm aims to offer brands access to high-impact campaigns while providing talent with new growth opportunities across multiple media formats.
Look,
Very interesting story.
Honestly, with this story, it's so exciting. I think that with Mahdi, what he's done with Trifid, Trifid, I wouldn't really say that Trifid is news. Maybe like what that avatar Avani does. Avani is a really famous employee from the company. But I think what they've done, and their video formats, it's nothing even like too complicated. It's kind of like, oh, what do you think about this? Oh, this is how you say this car name. But like I like what they've done. And if you take a look at his employees, it's such a young workplace. While I may not sometimes agree with his way of thinking in life, I saw this, he posted this thread on social media, Majid. You know what he said? I was shook, I was shocked. Basically business decisions that I made or something. He basically said that at some point he bought a McLaren. Why? And that left him with 10,000 dirhams in his bank account.
That's it.
And that like pushed him to work harder for the business. I was like,
I won't do that.
I was like, excuse me? I was like, what?
I just have 2 questions.
I think that's delusional.
How did you earn the money to buy that car? That's the first question.
I just imagine I was so shocked. I'm like, you know what? You go. You're clearly doing great now.
To be honest, if you're in
But that's scary.
UAE, there's, I think, a bunch of people you can't ignore. And in the last 2 years, Mahdi has become one of that people. You can't ignore him. He will pop up on your TikTok feed, on your Instagram feed. His video will, his company's video will. Something will pop up eventually. And he went to Pakistan as well. A lot of my friends hosted him in Karachi and Lahore. And
Majid has eyes everywhere.
Yeah,
Be careful.
To be honest, it was a guilty pleasure watching him when I came to the UAE nearly now 2-3 years ago. It was a guilty pleasure watching him do stuff.
Do you know where he's from?
I don't know. He's Arabic, but
I can't find it.
No, in the start he talked a lot about it, but now I've forgotten about him. I remember other people now. But yeah, I was a fanboy at some point for 3-4 months. I followed his Instagram, I followed his company's Instagram, I followed everything that they did. My only contention is that whatever he's doing, it's great, it's not sustainable. Sorry for that. But
why?
Yeah, it's not sustainable for a long time.
So.
And in one of his videos,
I'll
give you examples of why I think it's not sustainable. He says that he never wants to hire anyone above 25. Okay, very good, great. You only want to hire youngsters who understand the recent trends on social media, right? Perfect. But when it comes to experience, you can't match anything. So at least hire 4 or 5 people who have experience, senior people, and then you can hire 1 million people who are under the age of 25. Apart from that, 2 people I know, one of them actually worked here with us for 1 month. They have contentions about the work policies, the whole company, how it's run.
Yeah.
Zero salaries, only commission based, no visas, this,
The
that.
entire company is like that? Every
a lot
employee?
of a lot of companies, a lot of jobs that are there. Again, not going into details. I'm not saying it's a bad company. A lot of companies here in real estate, especially in UAE, they give you like 30-40% commission on your sale, but zero salary. It works. I'm not saying the rule is wrong. I'm just saying it works in real estate. Because then if you make a 1 million deal and you get like 10% out of it.
What if he's not really doing this because he just wants young people? Because if you think about it, young people are a cheap sales workforce.
Yeah, that's also...
Because it might not even be a thing of like, you know...
I just want to hire young people.
Literally.
Basically,
like,
they're cheap.
Yeah, like you being above the age of 25, I don't think he's like saying like, you know, people like you, Majid, are not experienced. You're beyond experienced, but people like you want to be paid well. So I think that with young people, with these founders, you can get away with it. You can honestly get away with it, and
because they are hungry for experience, exposure, and they just want something to do.
Young people are so like, oh my god, like I just need something on my CV. I need to get a start out. So if anything, I think he's so smart for that. You know, he's budgeting really well. He's keeping things within budget. He's keeping a young sales workforce that is just so excited and happy all the time.
He recently sat with Bartavi as well and gave a whole lecture on CVs don't work. Again, my question was...
CVs don't work?
Yeah, he's like, don't send a CV, send a video, 1-minute video. I was like, okay, works for you, for your company, and some modern media company.
Bukhash Brothers does that, by the way. You send your CV, but also a video.
No, I went through the whole process. I don't want to say it on the show, but I'll just give you a hint. I went through 3 rounds. It was CV, assignments, this, that, blah, blah. I applied for a production role. I went through 3 rounds. 1 interview, 1 assignment, long assignment, took me a week to complete. And then another round, and then they were like, sorry. And I was like, yeah, so CVs still work in corporate, in the big companies. If you want to go to Aramco, you can't go without a CV and a covering letter.
Or PIF.
He is talking about the new media companies, and very rarely a company which is run by a person who thinks he's cool enough to not look at a CV and wants a 1-minute video.
Look, Majid, I think for interns, no CVs, none of that, that's fine. Because I feel like an intern, the purpose of an intern is they should come in and they should learn. Yeah. And I feel like with interns, like especially with young people, like what if you miss the next, I don't know, Warren Buffett, like by like just rejecting these young people, what if you miss the next big thing? With interns, it's fine. But I think like with normal people applying for jobs, no, resumes do work.
It's just that I love how he knows how to break the clutter. So he will not shy away from saying something.
What do you mean by break the clutter?
He can easily do that. If he's doing some content for a week and it's not working, he will make sure the next video he makes or the next thing he does is controversial. And people are like, oh, why did you do blah, blah, blah. And he gets the engagement back, and then he starts doing the same stuff.
Though. I do think it's sustainable.
It is not.
It is.
To an extent, it is.
I do think it
Clients will love you to an extent. Everything, I'll give you an example. Love in Dubai, if somehow we can roll back 5-6 years, you look at Love in Dubai's content. If Love in Dubai still does the same content, same format, same template, same everything, it will stop working because old. So whatever ideas he has right now, great, he's doing great. But it's not sustainable. He will have to constantly keep evolving his ideas, his everything. And that takes a lot of toll on you. And not only on you, on the workforce as well.
Vani, though. I feel like one of the first actual big media agencies, especially in the UAE, to come out and use this AI avatar was Trifid. We didn't actually see that.
Actually, a lot of the people
I know,
did it.
But I think
just saw it.
But I think Trifid did it in a way that really stood out to people. They kind of built that bond with the host of Vani. It's the same host in every single video.
Funny thing is, she's also doing sponsored videos now, right?
I know.
I saw
she's
on
great.
YouTube,
she's really great.
She's doing ads for some real estate company. So she's not only working for Mahdi now, she's getting freelance gigs.
She's all over. She's all over the thing. But I think
apparently her face has become a very like known face and people want her on their sponsored ads and
But that's
stuff.
scary because if they lose her as an employee, you know what's going to happen?
I don't think so. He'll be
I think
going
it
to
is because sometimes people follow for the protagonists, not always a company. And that's a wrap for today, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into the Smashi Business Show. Make sure to follow us across all social media channels at Smashi Business and stay ahead with our daily newsletter. You'll find the subscription link in the description.
This has been a Smashi Business Show, a Smashi Business production, part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network. A big shout out to our more than 2 billion monthly listeners across all platforms. You make this possible. If you're one of them, we appreciate you. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow on Thursday.